Retirement in the Carolinas sounds like the dream, doesn't it? Mild winters, beautiful coastlines, mountain views, charming downtowns, golf communities, fresh seafood, and just enough southern hospitality to make you think you found paradise. And to be fair, there are some amazing places to retire in North Carolina and South Carolina. But here's the problem. Not every beautiful place is a smart place to retire. Some of the most popular towns in the Carolinas can absolutely wreck a retirement budget. I'm talking about home prices that look manageable on paper until you factor in insurance, property taxes, HOA fees, maintenance, tourism-driven pricing, and the brutal reality of living on a fixed income in a market built for wealthy buyers, investors, and second home owners. So this list is not about which towns are ugly. It's not even about which places are unsafe. This is about one thing, where retirees can quietly lose financial control without realizing it until it's too late. If your retirement plan depends on stretching Social Security, pension income, investment withdrawals, or even a paid-off home sale from another state, this list matters, because some places in the Carolinas are fantastic for visiting, but financially dangerous for settling down. Today, we're counting down 10 of the worst places to retire in the Carolinas if your goal is peace of mind, affordability, and long-term financial stability. And pay close attention, because the biggest trouble spots are not always the obvious luxury destinations. Sometimes the places that look comfortable on the surface are the ones that slowly drain your savings the fastest. Let's get into it. Number 10, Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Chapel Hill is one of those places that looks perfect in a brochure. It's walkable, educated, attractive, and filled with that upscale college town energy that makes everything feel polished and desirable. On paper, it sounds like a wonderful place to spend retirement. But financially, Chapel Hill can be a mismatch for the average retiree. This is a university-driven housing market, and that changes everything. You are not just competing with local retirees. You are competing with doctors, professors, executives, and households tied to one of the most prestigious university systems in the country. That keeps demand elevated, keeps inventory tight, and keeps prices far above what many retirees expect from North Carolina. And the problem isn't just buying in, it's staying in. In a town like Chapel Hill, everyday life often comes with a premium. Medical access may be excellent, but groceries, dining, services, and home repairs tend to reflect the purchasing power of a wealthy, highly educated population. That means retirees can wind up paying luxury town prices without necessarily getting a luxury retirement lifestyle. If you have a deep retirement portfolio, Chapel Hill may still work. But if you're hoping for affordable Carolina living, this is one of the first places where reality can slap you in the face. Number 9. Cary, North Carolina. Cary has built a reputation as one of the cleanest, safest, and most desirable suburban communities in the entire Southeast, and honestly, that reputation is deserved. It's well-planned, highly ranked, full of amenities, and close to top medical systems and the broader Research Triangle economy. That's also exactly why it can be a terrible retirement value. Cary is no longer a smart suburban alternative. It has become a premium market. You're paying for order, location, schools, master plan neighborhoods, and proximity to high-income professionals. The issue for retirees is simple. A lot of what makes Cary expensive is designed around working families, not people living on retirement income. In other words, retirees may be paying for benefits they no longer use. High-demand neighborhoods, polished common areas, strict associations, upgraded infrastructure, and family-oriented housing stock all add cost. And once you move in, you may discover that a nice neighborhood also means recurring HOA dues, landscaping expectations, and maintenance standards that quietly increase your monthly burn rate. Cary is a great town, but it's not a bargain, and it's definitely not the kind of place where a modest retirement check goes far. If your plan is to reduce stress and lower housing costs in retirement, Cary can end up doing the exact opposite. Number 8. Asheville, North Carolina. Asheville sells a powerful retirement fantasy. Mountain views, cool weather, artsy culture, local food, bluegrass, hiking, and a laid-back lifestyle that feels worlds away from big city pressure. And that image has drawn huge attention for years. The trouble is, Asheville is no longer priced like an eccentric mountain town, it's priced like a destination. Retirees moving here often underestimate how expensive everyday life can become when a city is driven by tourism, remote wealth, and limited buildable land. You may save a little compared to coastal luxury markets, but you're still dealing with a housing market that has been transformed by out-of-state demand. And once you buy, the costs don't stop. Older homes, steep lots, mountain weather wear and tear, and specialized repairs can make upkeep much more expensive than retirees expect. Then there's lifestyle inflation. Asheville has a charming local identity, but charm costs money. Dining out costs more. Entertainment costs more. Contractor availability can be tight. And if you want a home with easy access, low maintenance, and proximity to healthcare, you can wind up paying a significant premium. Asheville is a beautiful place to enjoy retirement. But if your retirement depends on predictability, budget control, and avoiding lifestyle creep, this mountain favorite can quietly become a financial strain. Number 7. Davidson, North Carolina. Davidson is often marketed as refined, peaceful, and high quality, and it is. It has a charming downtown, a respected college, proximity to Lake Norman, and easy access to the Charlotte region. For many retirees, that sounds like the ideal mix of small-town atmosphere and big city convenience. But Davidson comes with a price structure that can punish fixed-income living. The first issue is that Davidson is part lifestyle market, part commuter market. So retirees are not just bidding against other seniors. They're also up against affluent professionals who want prestige, good design, and access to the broader Charlotte economy. That kind of buyer pressure pushes housing costs up and keeps value expectations high. The second issue is that communities around Davidson often carry an upscale standard. That means more expensive homes, more expensive services, and often more expensive neighborhood expectations. Lawn care, home maintenance, and property improvements tend to cost more in markets where residents expect a certain look and feel. And because the town is so visually appealing, people assume it's a practical retirement choice. But attractive is not the same as affordable. Davidson is one of those places where retirees can become house rich and cash flow poor very quickly. It's lovely, yes, but lovely doesn't pay the electrician, the roofer, or the property bills. Number 6, Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. Hilton Head is one of the most famous retirement destinations in the Carolinas, maybe even in the entire South. Beaches, golf, bike trails, resort landscaping, gated communities. It looks like a retirement ad brought to life. But Hilton Head can be financially brutal if you're not arriving with serious money. The headline problem is obvious. You're buying into a resort island. That means housing costs are elevated, and so are many of the lifestyle costs around them. But beyond the purchase price, retirees often get hit by the second wave. Regime fees, association fees, maintenance expectations, flood considerations, and insurance realities that simply do not exist in cheaper inland markets. And that insurance side matters more than ever. Coastal properties in both Carolinas increasingly come with questions about wind, hail, named storm deductibles, and flood exposure. Even if you can afford the house, the cost of properly protecting it can keep rising. Hilton Head is incredible if you want a resort lifestyle and you can fund it without stress. But if your retirement strategy depends on efficiency, stability, and lower carrying costs, this island can drain cash faster than people expect. It's a place where many retirees buy the dream and then spend years paying for it. Number 5, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Mount Pleasant used to be the place people looked at when Charleston felt too expensive. That era is over. Today, Mount Pleasant is one of the most expensive and competitive suburban coastal markets in South Carolina. It has excellent appeal, newer housing, strong amenities, good access to shopping and healthcare, proximity to beaches, and a polished suburban feel. But from a retirement perspective, it can be one of the most deceptive markets in the Carolinas. Why deceptive? Because it doesn't always look ultra expensive at first glance. It looks practical, it looks clean, it looks family friendly, it looks manageable. And then the real costs start showing up. Housing is expensive, coastal risk is real, insurance pressure is real, traffic is real, service costs are higher than many retirees expect. And if you buy into one of the more desirable communities, the monthly carrying costs can climb fast. A place can feel better value than downtown Charleston and still be a terrible value for someone on retirement income. Mount Pleasant is ideal for high earners who want the low country lifestyle without living on the peninsula, but retirees who need their money to last 20 or 30 years should approach this town with a lot more caution than the marketing suggests. Number 4, Charleston, South Carolina. Charleston is one of the most seductive cities in America. Historic homes, waterfront views, incredible food, old world character, and a cultural identity that is almost impossible to replicate. It's easy to understand why so many people imagine retirement here. It's also easy to understand why so many budgets break here. Charleston is expensive in ways that are obvious and in ways that are hidden. The obvious part is housing. The hidden part is everything else that comes with living in a historic, coastal, tourism-driven city. Older homes can demand expensive maintenance. Flood exposure is not theoretical. Parking is annoying, congestion is constant. Tourist seasons affect daily life. And if you want to live anywhere especially charming, the price climbs fast. The flood issue is especially important. Charleston has become one of the best-known examples in the country of regular tidal flooding and rising long-term water risk. That doesn't just affect insurance, it affects convenience, property desirability, maintenance planning, and your ability to feel secure in a home long-term. Charleston is an amazing place to visit. It can even be an amazing place to live if money is no object. But for many retirees, it's simply too expensive, too maintenance heavy, and too exposed to be a wise long-term retirement move. Number 3, Folly Beach, South Carolina. If Charleston is seductive, Folly Beach is emotionally dangerous. It has that carefree, coastal, flip-flops all-day energy that makes people feel like retirement can be simple, fun, and beachy forever. Financially, though, Folly Beach is one of the riskiest retirement plays in the Carolinas. This is a barrier island market, and retirees should never take that lightly. On a barrier island, you're not just paying for location, you are paying for exposure to storms, insurance volatility, maintenance challenges, salt air deterioration, and long-term uncertainty about what it will cost to hold that property over time. Then there's the lifestyle issue. Folly is not a sleepy retirement bubble. It's a vacation destination. That means short-term rental pressure, seasonal crowds, noise, parking challenges, and a very different day-to-day experience than many retirees imagine when they see sunrise photos online. And once home values cross into seven-figure territory, a beach cottage is no longer just a retirement home. It becomes a major financial asset with major financial risk. For the right buyer, that may be worth it. For the average retiree trying to protect income and reduce stress, Folly Beach can be a very expensive mistake. Number 2, Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina. Wrightsville Beach is one of the most beautiful coastal spots in North Carolina. The water is attractive, the boating scene is strong, Wilmington is nearby, and the whole place feels like an elite coastal retreat. That's exactly the problem. Wrightsville Beach is priced like an elite coastal retreat. By the time many retirees seriously look at this market, they've already fallen in love with the lifestyle. But the financial math is unforgiving. Inventory is limited, prices are extremely high, insurance considerations are serious. Storm-related deductibles can be painful. And the cost of maintaining property near salt, wind, and water can wear down even strong retirement budgets over time. This is not the kind of place where you buy a modest home and quietly enjoy a cheaper coastal life. This is a prestige coastal market. And prestige markets are dangerous for retirees because they create recurring pressure. Everything from repairs to labor to property expectations tends to cost more than average. Wrightsville Beach is gorgeous, no doubt. But if you are retiring with a middle class or even upper middle class budget, this place can turn your retirement into a constant exercise in financial justification. Number 1, Kiowa Island, South Carolina. And finally, the worst place to retire in the Carolinas if you don't want to go broke, Kiowa Island. Now let's be honest, Kiowa is stunning. It is private, luxurious, immaculate, and built to impress. If you want exclusivity, golf, privacy, and high-end coastal living, it delivers. But that's exactly why it lands at number 1. Kiowa is not expensive in a normal way. It is expensive at every layer. The home price is only the beginning. Once you enter a market at this level, you're dealing with a whole ecosystem of cost, elite community standards, premium maintenance expectations, association structures, club-oriented lifestyle pressure, high-end service pricing, and all the insurance realities that come with owning on a vulnerable stretch of coast. This is the kind of place where a retiree can think, I've made it, only to discover that owning the home is one thing and comfortably carrying the lifestyle is something completely different. And that gap matters, because retirement isn't just about qualifying to buy. It's about being able to stay comfortable year after year without anxiety. Kiawah Island is beautiful, but for most retirees, it's financially irrational. It may be one of the most impressive places in the Carolinas, and one of the least forgiving places to own a home if your money needs to last. So, what's the big takeaway here? The Carolinas absolutely can be great for retirement, but beauty, prestige, and popularity are not the same thing as affordability. In fact, in many of these markets, the more attractive the lifestyle looks, the more dangerous the math becomes. If you're planning retirement in North Carolina or South Carolina, don't just ask whether a place is charming. Don't just ask whether it has beaches, golf, walkability, or healthcare access. Ask the harder questions. What will the full monthly cost be? What happens if insurance rises? What happens if maintenance spikes? What happens if you need in-home care later? And are you buying a retirement home or a luxury asset that behaves like a financial burden? Because the worst retirement move is not choosing an ugly town. It's choosing a beautiful town that slowly empties your bank account. If you want the Carolinas without the financial stress, focus on places where housing, insurance, taxes, and daily life all work together, not places that look incredible on a weekend and punish you for the next 20 years. If you enjoyed this breakdown, let me know which Carolina town surprised you the most. And if you know someone thinking about retiring to the coast or a high-demand resort town, send them this video before they make a very expensive mistake.